Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, it feels good to bring the show to you today, especially after the long holidays. And of course, there is a lot to talk about as we take a look at things happening in the world of sports. I'll do all that for you. But of course, as you know, I'm not always alone on the show. I have my partner, Austin Okon Ackman, with me. And of course, he is ready to go. All right, it appears he's trying to settle in. But let me give you a quick rundown of what to expect on the show as we wait for Austin to join in. We'll be talking about the African Cycling Championship, African Track Cycling Championship. We're talking about that. We'll give you a slice of handball as we go on the show. We will also talk about the just concluded Grand Slam, talking about Wimbledon. We look at the winner in the men's category, the winner in the women's category, and how they've been received at home after winning the title. We will also look at the WAFCON. That's the Women's African Cup of Nations. It's at the quarterfinal stage. The Super Falcons of Nigeria through to the quarterfinal in that competition. We'll take a look at what's going on in that competition as well. We will also take a look at preseason. What's happening? Of course, the game that everyone has been talking about, Manchester United taking on Liverpool. It didn't go the way a lot of people expected. Manchester United winning that game 4-0. We take some post-game reactions from that match as we go on. We talk about players moving, coaches moving. Wayne Rooney is in the news. Gareth Bale in the news as well. We will also spare some time for golf on the show. Tiger Woods has been speaking on, of course, what's happening now with the Saudi-backed, what they've termed the rebel group. Talking about golf, some players have joined that Saudi-backed initiative. Tiger Woods has been speaking, of course, been bearing his mind on all of those things. That's the outlook of the show tonight, and it promises to be exciting as always. So let's see. Austin is ready now, so let's just dive straight into it. Austin, it's good as always to do this with you.
What a greetings to you, yeah. And of course, our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. Always a delight to be on the show to talk sports. So much going on in our world of sports, and I was listening to you, read out what's on offer tonight, and I can confirm that there's so much going down, particularly with the African Track Championship. We told our viewers last week that Nigeria are doing so well with cycling, and with the Track Championship in Africa, the last time Nigeria hosted in Abuja, we were actually champions of that championship. And the federation, just before COVID, had a lot of plans for cycling. They said they want to take cycling beyond leisure, and make Nigeria a force to reckon with, particularly in Africa. The track championship is not the regular one you have on road or go through routes. It's right there at the Velodrome in Abuja, and that's a good way to start. So let's listen to the president talk about this Africa Track Championship and what we should expect from Nigeria. Okay, while we wait for that to come up, let's just talk about it. We talked about it last week. I think about 25 representatives for Nigeria. We don't talk a lot about cycling, but it's massive, it's big. And for a country as Nigeria with the numbers, then we can actually do something with this Africa Track Championship.
Yeah, of course. It's going to start in 2 days' time, just like you said. Some countries are already on ground. We have Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Burundi, Ghana, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Algeria, Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Tunisia, and of course, hosts Nigeria. And of course, we're going to listen to the president, Domenico Massari. He says the sport of cycling has not gotten the much needed support despite its modest achievements for Nigeria. I think we're ready now. Let's just take that reaction, and we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Okay, as you say, this is the African Track Championship 2022 edition. And for Nigeria, it's the first time that is hosting such event. Even if in 2019 we have hosted the first edition of African Cup, that is different in category and even in sizes than this one. So we are expected initially 18 nations that they are given the intention to participate. At the moment, we have confirmed 15 nations. And so you will see even the magnitude, in fact, from South Africa, from Egypt, Morocco, even from, if you are thinking from West Africa and our region, we have several countries like Niger, ourselves, of course, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, Guinea, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and I believe that is the one in West Africa. And if you are thinking West Africa in this region, except us, there are no velodromes. So it just is showing interest that this type of specialty in cycling is getting. So we are ready. Of course, we have some challenges we try to overcome. We are trying to put the full gear, but we will start after tomorrow with the opening ceremony and eventually the race as will be according to the program. So it will be a very interesting program, and we are hoping that everything will be smooth. Until now, we are up to time, out to the schedule. But our athletes are very, very, committed. We have even started long ago the training and everything, so we are expecting even to have a good performance. So let's see.
All right, President of Nigeria Cycling Federation, Jia Domenico Masari, speaking on his mind, bearing his mind, speaking on the things happening, of course, what to expect in the days to come when the Africa Track Championship, Cycling Championship starts. And, of course, that familiar line, issues about support, funding, creeping into discussion. But he also made us understand that as far as preparations go, they've done their best. Challenges have come. They find ways to navigate, to walk around these challenges, and we can only sit back and hope for the best.
Yeah, he also set the record straight, reminded us that what we did in 2019 was the Africa Cup, and that this is a much more bigger competition in size and in participation, so it means we need to take it seriously. And you could tell by the number of representatives that Nigeria will, be fielding at this African Track Championship. Look, when you have a competition in Africa where you have Egypt, South Africa, Tunisia, then it's serious. You need to wake up, because those are countries that are doing so well when you talk about development, particularly with infrastructure development. Egypt, they are doing so well with cycling. So this is good competition for the Nigeria Cycling Federation. And hopefully, after doing this sort of competition, you should start looking for solutions to some of your problems, because those problems are there and you still somehow go ahead and put up a good championship. Take the lessons learned from there and use it to develop the sport.
Yeah, definitely agree. And by the way, problems is really not a bad thing in itself. Problems are meant to be solved. So if you solve if the problem comes as a challenge, you find a way to surmount it, then it's not there anymore. And of course, the definition of success in a way is solving problems. We're created to solve problems. And so I hope this will be a litmus test, like you said. I hope Nigerian participants get to do well. And I also, in terms of organization, I hope we get an A+ for what we are able to put, because there are a lot of countries, that have done so well in times past when it comes to hosting major events. And when they come here, sometimes when other countries come here, sometimes we don't like the vibes we get when they complain about this, complain about that. But I'm also hoping that, aside the fact that I'm hoping we get to do well, I'm also hoping that countries who come will be able to attest to what we've been able to offer in terms of facilities, in terms of the quality of the things we bring to the table for the African Track Cycling Championship.
That's right. 21 cyclists will represent Nigeria. 14 of them are female. I needed to get into that because if we have 21 professional cyclists in the country that can go on to represent I think it was in France sometime last year, we had representatives at a cycling competition. So it means there are potentials, and we'll just monitor the federation, see what they can do right after this track championship. And hopefully we're not going to just have a one-off show.
Yeah, hopefully that will happen. All right, Austin, let's move on the show. Let's just quickly touch up, brief stop with handball. Let's get the update. Our producer will give it to us, Nigeria. We talked about handball a few days ago, so let's just quickly see a Group C game. Let's see if we have any updates from that, Nigeria and Cape Verde. If we don't have it right now, we'll come back to it later. We promise to update our viewers on what's happening with handball. So once we're able to do that, we quickly give that to you. But while we're waiting for that, let's just quickly move on and talk about tennis. We get back to handball as soon as we have the update. A very short producer is working on that. Of course, we talked about Wimbledon and the ladies singles event. Eventually the winner wasn't who everybody thought was going to be. Elena Rybakina, of course, turned out to be the champion, and of course, she arrived in Kazakhstan after winning the women's title. Austin, first, let's talk about this. The Russians will probably be having a laugh, and guess what? She's representing Kazakhstan, but of course, she's Russian-born, and if she had not switched allegiance to Kazakhstan, it will have affected her. So, but of course, she's there now. She's representing Kazakhstan, and that's why, of course, the ban didn't affect her. But I said earlier that the Russians would have been having a laugh because they would, in a way, want to be claiming her. But of course, our allegiance is to Kazakhstan.
That's right, and you see, that's why some followers of tennis are mad that whatever is happening in Russia and Ukraine is affecting sport, because think about it, Rybakina probably wouldn't be a champion if she was fully Russian. She would have watched Wimbledon back home. But what a story. Someone from Kazakhstan, record-breaking. Yes, a lot of bookmakers expected Ons Jabeur to go on to win, but she's also got a beautiful story, and that's what our world of sports does. It reminds us that impossible is nothing. Now look at how she's welcomed back home like a hero, and that's what she is, because look, she breaks the heart, and the way she played, when you go to a Grand Slam event where there are no dominant forces, and then you say to yourself, I can go all the way, and you go there, you should be proud of yourself. I love her story. It's inspiring. Either she or Ons Jabeur would have won, it would still be an inspiring story. I just hope that young girls all over the world will be inspired by this story and know that impossible is nothing, and you can actually chase your dream and become a champion.
All right, so that's the story of Elena Rybakina. All right, let's just quickly bring Joseph Atewe to the show. He's been waiting in the wings for a while. Greetings to you, Joseph. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight. Of course, you join in when we're talking about Elena Rybakina and how she, surprisingly, went all the way to win the tournament.
Congratulations to Rybakina once again, and just as you rightly stated, that the bookmakers all predicted that Ons Jabeur was going to go, and of course the entire continent were waiting to see the African, clinch, if not the biggest competition, one of the biggest competitions when it comes to tennis. Talking about Grand Slam there, and she did really well getting to the finals. But for then, the girl from Kazakhstan, we called 5 years ago, she switched allegiance. And of course, I was speaking to a friend. Did she project what would happen? Was she in the spirit to know that something would definitely happen between Russia and Ukraine 5 years ago? But then, good one for her. And that is what we said the last time, if you recall. I spoke about female tennis and how competitive it has been, how the big guns cannot even beat their chest and say, yes, I'm going to clinch this title. And that is what she has just done. Don't be surprised next year, this same tournament, she crashes out of the third or fourth round. That's the beauty of the female tennis compared to the guys where, Novak would definitely, no matter what happens, push his opponent to the wall, if not for injury. And of course, he had to pull out against Nick. I feel Rafa Nadal would have also got into the final and, push Novak Djokovic to the wall. But then let's not take away the shine from the young girl. She's done with the first Kazakhstan player to ever clinch a Grand Slam. That's a record. And of course, look at the WAFCON reception. Massive.
Yeah, massive reception she has received when she touched down. Of course. All right, let's switch and talk about the guys. Taking it from where Joseph stopped. I mean, for the past 19 years, you've always had the top three getting to the final. One of Djokovic, Rafa Nadal, and Roger Federer. And of course, it wasn't different this time. Novak Djokovic got into the final. And of course, in that 19 years, the only time it wasn't one of them was when Andy Murray won. Andy Murray was the only one that was able to break into the top three and win this. But here is Novak Djokovic also receiving, of course, I mean, in his country, in Belgrade, the fans, everybody came out to receive him. And of course, they're proud of his achievements. He's now 21. And of course, you wouldn't want to bet against him catching up with Rafael Nadal. Austin.
I know, yeah. I mean, what a story, And Djokovic also is telling an inspiring story. If you followed what happened with him from the first Grand Slam of the year in Australia to him staying focused and then coming to Wimbledon with one thing in his mind, say, shun the critics and just go out and prove that you are arguably one of the best tennis players in the world. And look, what did it for Djokovic was focus, was his level of professionalism. Nick was his own undoing in the finals, and Djokovic just stayed calm, particularly after losing that first set. He showed us that he is the man to beat. What a story. Fourth Wimbledon title in a row. Seventh right there in Wimbledon, at Wimbledon, and of course 21, massive. He's definitely going to catch up. If you look at whose time is going to favor, I think it's Djokovic. If you look at who is on form at the moment, I think it's Djokovic. And if you take a look at momentum, I think Djokovic just knows how to get it going. This guy is a champion through and through, and take nothing out of him. I join with all the people in Belgrade celebrating this guy to say congratulations, Djokovic. He needed to prove a point at Wimbledon, and he did just that. Top class, Yemi and Joseph.
All right, top class. And I mean, Austin, before we go on the break, I mean, what else to add? Djokovic is, of course, top player, but there are fears in some quarters. It might take him a while to catch up with Nadal because of his anti-vaccine stance. He probably won't play at the US, obviously, in Australia, if he doesn't take that. Do you think all of that will work against him before we go on the break?
It will work against him, but I'm sure he's got people around him that he can listen to. And I mean, if Djokovic can let me give him a call, I'll say, just take the vaccine. Take the vaccine and prove a point. You're a role model. And COVID-19 is no longer a myth. It is what it is, So just take the vaccine, go out there, play tennis, dominate it. This is your chance. This is your time to prove a point. But if he doesn't and is missing major events, then definitely that will motivate Nadal, because we all know that if not for that abdominal injury, Nadal would have been in the final and maybe might just upset Djokovic, and that would be more setback for the Serb. So things will change. Trust me, Yemi. There's something success does. He will calm down now, reflect, take it in, and maybe just listen to mommy or daddy and say, you know what, son, go take the vaccine and keep winning. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess we need to go on a break on that note. And of course, we'll come back to talk some more about tennis. Join us again. All right. So, of course, we're still talking tennis before we go to football. Just let me just quickly bring you into all of this. A lot of the fans would want to see a dominant Novak Djokovic win some more titles, but he stands in his own way with his anti-vaccine stance.
Well, I think that would definitely affect him. And of course, if you recall that this affected him in some other competitions, just as he stated, the US Open, of course, in Australia, where they find they take this thing seriously. So I feel that would definitely affect him. But then surpassing that record is a bone of contention here. There's something pressure does. I was speaking, I'm sure Nigerians might not forgive me for what I want to say. There's something pressure does to you, like what is affecting Serena Williams, will definitely affect what's the right now, Novak Djokovic, will still affect the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Djokovic needs to put his head high at this point, take the vaccine just as Austin has stated, and see maybe other competitions, maybe with more competitions, maybe with more Grand Slams, would surpass that. But then let's go back to the competition itself. You recall before the final, Djokovic was 2 sets down, fought, won the last 3, got to that stage. It means he's a lion. He knows the game. He understands what he's doing. And I won't be surprised if he goes to win the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. The Serbian knows what he wants. And of course, the energy brings to the court. Oh, goodness. It's something I admire.
All right. Something we all admire, and we hope to see more of him. And personally, as a sports lover, I would love him to change his stance on the vaccine, because he's standing in the way of his own legacy. And you talked about it last week. The young ones are coming. You know, 1 or 2 guys may just come up, and the dominance, something might shift. So he's informed. He has the opportunity, and he just should use that advantage. But we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, let's move on and talk about what is happening in Morocco. Let's talk about the WAFCON, the Women's African Cup of Nations. That's our next.
Before we get into,
all right,
we get into football, you know, because I know when we get into the WAFCON, we're not coming back. Let's just quickly give updates from the handball championship. We mentioned it earlier. Nigeria, remember, lost the first game. The Golden Arrows lost, I think, 30-18 against Tunisia. They play Cape Verde today, and they've lost. They lost that one 35-29. It is what it is, but I'm sure there are lessons in this. And we said it before the start of this competition that for them, it's not even about going there to win. They were hoping to pick a ticket to the World Championship. So they should get the dust off their shoulder. You know, Federation, go back, find ways that you can do more in terms of, you know, picking yourself up from this result. So it has ended Cape Verde 35, Nigeria 29 at the handball championships.
Yeah, and I hope this will spur us to do more for, I mean, this is not just for handball, across board, to do more for the competition on the domestic scene, because the trend as it is in football, is happening across all sports. The trend is for us to neglect what's happening on the domestic scene, get players from wherever they are,
and face competitions,
and play competitions, and just totally forget. And so when we see federations like the Wrestling Federation, handball, and all that, we see them doing a lot to develop the game locally. We're happy. And so for some of us, this is not a loss. Whatever happens is not a loss. That they get the chance to measure up against the best on the African continent, irrespective of the fact that we want to be among the world's best. It doesn't really matter for now, as long as there are concerted efforts to develop the game here. And we listened to the coach and the federation president last week, and you can see both of them had different perspectives. For the coach, it was all about let's just go there and play and development. And so we'll see what happens. Thanks for the update, even as we move on. Let's quickly see what's going to happen in the quarterfinal. I'll yield the floor to Austin to take us through some of the things to expect. But first, let's just quickly take a look at the quarterfinal fixtures, what's going to happen tomorrow and on Thursday. We have Morocco will take on Botswana. Zambia will take on Senegal. These matches will be played tomorrow. Of course, our hearts and minds will be with the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They will be playing on Thursday. It's going to be Cameroon against Nigeria, South Africa against Tunisia. That's what's going to happen. All right, Austin, the floor is yours. There's a lot to talk about. We've seen good football from the ladies. The moment it dawned on me they were going to play the girls from Cameroon, it sent a little bit of jitters down my spine, but then again, I do expect the Super Falcons to pull through.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about the pairing, because I mean, if you have 12 teams in Africa playing at a competition, you should be ready to play the best at any time. So football has gotten to the stage where if you want to win, you should be ready to play the best, So with the Super Falcons, shaky start against South Africa, picked themselves back up against Botswana. That Botswana game was a very tricky one, but they were bad. They were bad their business, and they won by 2-0. Then against Burundi, it was a rush. They just threw everything that they had at that one, and then they went on to win 4-0 convincingly. Now against Cameroon, that's a big test because with Cameroon, look, he can swing anywhere. But we listened to Mercy Akibeuda on this show last week, and you could tell with the confidence that she used to speak about this team that, look, they will get better game after game. And this is actually how they started at the last edition, lost to South Africa. And then from there, they sprint all the way to the final, met South Africa again in the final, beat them by penalties to win the trophy. But it's going to be tricky. While you are busy thinking what's going to happen with Nigeria and Cameroon, also think about what can happen between South Africa and Tunisia. This is women's football in Africa, and it's looking good. Think about what Botswana can do to their opponents in the quarterfinals. And that's the story we want to tell about this Africa Cup of Nations, because it has come to the stage where if you can have 12 teams now, then we should be ready for upsets. And Joseph, when you look at the quarterfinal pairings, are you expecting any shocker?
Well, to be honest, I feel like the shocker might be the Super Falcons, God forbid, crashing out of the competition. Because, look at, they've been coming. I'm talking about the Cameroonians. 10 times, this will be the 10th meeting when it comes to the African Cup of Nations, the female version. 6 we've triumphed, that we won, and 3 we've drawn. Now, let me take you back to 2018. Let me take you back to the previous tournament before 2018. We won 1-0 in the semi-final. In 2018, we played, I think we got to the semi-finals. That took us to the final. We played a goalless draw, a one-off draw, not too sure, but then we settled that on the spot. Now we're playing the Cameroonians. They know what is at stake. They know they're playing 9 times African champions. They want to dethrone the Super Falcons by all costs. But I give it to Mercy Akida, what she said about the Super Falcons and how they can continue to grow, how they'll keep growing. The first game against South Africa was a disaster. Honestly, losing in that manner. Forget the 2-1 results that we saw. I expected more of the girls, knowing fully well that you lost the first game in the previous edition to South Africa. So I expected more for them. Against Botswana, it was expected that the defending champions were going to come all out. Against Burundi, I expected more. For crying out loud, Austin, we scored a 4th goal 22 seconds into the second half, and we expected more. Make a statement. So looking at the girls, honestly, they've done really well. If there will be a shocker, goodness, they play good football. Kudos to Onome Ebi. She's been able to cement that defense alongside the other players at the back. The midfield, yes, the coach has got him right. Up front, the only problem is taking their chances and connecting balls to the right players up front might be a problem. So if there'll be an upset, trust me, it should come from the Super Falcons of Nigeria. But then the game between Botswana and the host nation Morocco is going to be a one-sided game, Austin. For Zambia, that's another big game to watch. And for the Zambians, watching them play, I see them in the semis.
Yemi, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, what is Joseph talking about?
Yeah, but I know he has a point. I know he has a point. At some point we have to be realistic. I hope it doesn't happen. And I like the fact that he said, God forbid. Sometimes, despite being very patriotic, you just have to be realistic, And I think they've gotten over the shock of the loss in the opener. I think they have. But, there's been very near, examples of, again, like Joseph pointed out, there have been many occasions where the Cameroonians came close to beating us, came close. There are matches we've won in recent times. It was very, very tough. So you would expect a tough game. So, but of course, if they beat us, it's an upset. And you asked for upset, and he said, "Look, that's the place. That's the place it might likely happen." But I hope, and I trust the girls really. I trust the girls. But it's always good to be cautiously optimistic. I hope they'll get the job done.
I think they can't get the job done. I think they got better against Botswana. The problem with the Super Falcons is we think that whenever they file out against African teams, it should just be a straight victory. But it's not happening that way against Joseph. African football is developing, and these ladies, they are looking at Nigeria and using Nigeria as a model to say if the Super Falcons can be this way. And women, they know how to motivate themselves a lot. So you look at it, your fellow woman doing something special, you get a lot of motivation from it. Look at what we just talked about at Wimbledon. It could either be Jabbar or Rybakina, and we said it could go anywhere, even just because of the region or what we think about Jabbar's consistency. The bookmakers gave it to her, but actually that could have been what motivated Rybakina. So with the Super Falcons, I think they understand that they disappointed a lot of persons losing to South Africa, and that might just be what they need as they go on to play Cameroon. Let's just wish them all the best, and I'm super confident they can go all the way.
All right, let's move on now and talk about football transfers. Was kept secret. Paul Pogba, of course, we always know that he was going to leave Manchester United, and his likely destination was Juventus. And now everything is complete, and of course, it's done. Paul Pogba, a player of Juventus, and he's been unveiled. So he's back. 6 years ago, he was back to Manchester United. Now he's back to Juventus. It has been handed the number 10 jersey. And of course, the Turin-based clubs have celebrated this move on social media. Social media has been awash with a lot of things. And he also probably would have annoyed some Manchester United fans with some of the comments that he made about changes, managerial changes being the reason for the problems Manchester United had. Some fans probably would not agree with him. Some fans would probably say if he had been more consistent, maybe things, but there's always different perspectives to all of this. But the news is that he has been unveiled. So the question is, what can Paul Pogba offer to Juventus? Joseph, you think it will brighten the prospects of Juventus?
Well, for me, I feel Paul was very unlucky because, truth be told, he wanted to prove a point in England. He was desperate to move to England, and Manchester United, he believed, was the perfect destination for him. If he had spent the entire 6 years under Sir Alex Ferguson, you would have seen a different Paul Pogba. But then, just as I spoke about the managers he had to play under, I think they don't still get the style of Paul Pogba. He's a beautiful player. And the only time you have Paul shine, the only time you have Paul, they give him the time to show what he's got. You see what he does. I remember the game against Arsenal, even though they lost 3-2, you saw what Paul did, 2 assists and also got a goal in one. Massive player. That was the only time I saw the view of Paul Pogba. But at Juventus, the style of play is different. Yemi and Austin, the style of play is different. So, quote me here. I think from the first week when the season kickstarts, Paul would definitely deliver at the Turin Stadium there, because I believe Paul is made for Juventus. He has proven this times with that number. And of course, welcome back home, Paul. I'm sure that is what the fans of Juventus will be saying at this point.
All right. 6 years ago was welcome back. Again, welcome back. Austin, before we talk about preseason, that's another thing that's generated a lot of talk on social media, Manchester United, about Liverpool and Liverpool. But I know you want to say something about this one.
With Paul Pogba, I thought he had more to give to Manchester United. And at the press briefing today, he said a bit of everything blocked him. I was like, what blocked you? He said a bit of everything. He mentioned coaching, the team, the position where he was played. So he said a bit of everything. But he went on to say that he loves the years that he spent at Manchester United. He said he's happy with the choices that he has made and that he has learned from his mistakes and is now a man. one thing I don't understand about players is when they stay in a particular club and then they get tired and then they want to go back to where they are coming from. And you just try to wonder, why did Lukaku leave Inter Milan? I mean, it was going so well for you. You left and now you're back there. Same with Pogba. I thought Pogba would have just, be a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say calm or just, learn one or two things and use it to stay in Manchester United. But we know players and their movement, particularly when the media isn't saying the things that you want to hear, or a coach comes, maybe makes a substitution that you don't expect, or puts you on the bench to play someone else, then it becomes a problem. Just be a professional. But all the best to him at Juve. And with Juventus, come on, is definitely going to either qualify for the Champions League or win the Serie A. So it's a right choice for him. But I just don't understand when players leave a particular team and then go back there and play one more season and they're thinking of going somewhere else. But isn't it business after all?
All right, Austin, do us the honors. Eric Ten Hag, preseason. I mean, some people joked on Twitter, a trophy is a trophy, no matter how you look at it. And he has one under his belt. But I must say, even if it's for laughs, a full-strength United side. That game was very important to Ten Hag. And, eventually they won 4-0.
Yeah, they did. And there's something about these sort of preseason games. It's momentum, It gets your team to start believing. And what other way do you want to get into your preseason than beating Liverpool? That's good motivation for Ten Hag. That's the right way to start. Makes me remember when your team, Arsenal, wins the Emirates Cup, how they celebrate it and then use it to get into the season and then things start falling apart. But for Ten Hag, he has always said that he's open to learning, particularly with learning how to correct the past mistake. Maybe one of the mistakes could have been Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is out of the way now. So he has players that he would say to himself, let me work with these guys and see what we can do with the new season. Let's take some post-match reaction from that 4-0 win Manchester United had over Liverpool in Bangkok.
Yeah, how was that? A lot of good situations. I saw a lot of good performances in moments, but no consistency. We were sometimes in a rush, we were too high, but anyway, with the way United defended in the man-marking system, especially in midfield, we lost the balls in the wrong moment, gave the balls away, and they finished the situations off. That's what was the obvious stuff. That we have to improve was clear. Even if we would have won 4-0, we have to improve. So it's just the start of the preseason, and now we carry on. But look, when you lose 4-0, we can hear, if we talk about a game completed without the result, we have a lot of good things to talk about from my team. But if we do it like it should be, not forgetting the result, then we have to consider that we lost 4-0. And so more things didn't go too well because we made some mistakes. That's normal, but you have to pay the price for that, and that's what we did tonight.
That's a bow, that's how to, be humble in defeat. But then again, it's preseason. So this sort of matches are played for you to learn. And sometimes, the clubs don't even look at it. It's just to generate a little bit of side revenue for them, So Jurgen Klopp should spare us all of that. It was the FA Cup final. We know he's not going to lose that way, or it was the Champions League semi-final. But Joseph, I think we've got about a minute or two to go on a break. Let's just get Joseph quickly into it. Good start for Ten Hag. Time for him to look at the team that he has and see ways that they can get into the season with good momentum.
To every Manchester United fan that has been on my timeline, to those discovering me on Facebook and all social media platforms, we all watched that game for 90 minutes, so I think they should calm down. But if you look at the way Klopp started the game, he wasn't willing to win nothing. They wanted to test the youngsters he had. They wanted to test some of the players he had at his disposal. But then when they saw it got worse, They had to bring in 5 or 6 substitutions they did at once. And of course, it was too late for them. But then kudos to Manchester United. You can see what Ten Hag is doing. Look at the young stars he used in executing that game. They brought in Zima last year right now, and see what they played. I think I like the partnership between him and Elanga. And of course, Fred did well. So, I mean, if they started this way, and it needs to prove a point, every game for Ten Hag matters now, considering how badly they played last season, where they finished last season, what fans expected from Manchester United. So, this was more than a friendly for Manchester United. He wanted to send a statement. He wanted to tell the owners of the directors that, see, I've got what it takes. So kudos to them. The first team, I believe, to have won an entire stadium. If you look at the trophy they gave to them, it was an entire stadium. But then, of course, kudos to Manchester United.
Yeah, if you check what happened to them last season, then you'll understand why they're celebrating this win for Man. The fans really need. So let's go on this quick break. When we come back, there are more football talks for us to have. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at what's going on in our world of sports. We just finished talking about a preseason game that took place in Bangkok. Manchester United 4, Liverpool 0. Calm down. It was a preseason game. Manchester United fans already sending me messages saying up Manchester United. It's been a long time their team won, so they don't care. This is a good win for them, and it came against Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, what's going on with Wayne Rooney?
Yeah, Wayne Rooney is back in the news. Of course, he is the new manager of DC United. He once played for them. Of course, you know the story of Wayne Rooney. It's the club he was handling before had issues. Derby County. He wanted to stay on, but at some point he had to leave. And so the rumors had been circulating, and now it's official. He has been unveiled as the new manager of DC United. Let's just quickly listen to Wayne Rooney, what he has to say and his plans for the MLS club.
I've seen a few articles, certainly back in England, on this as possibly a backward step in my managerial career. I really find that a bit disrespectful to this league. I feel the experience I gained at Derby County over the past 18 months has been great in my development as a coach, as a manager. And to really come here back to the MLS, back to DC United was a exciting challenge for me, something which I feel can develop me as a coach, but also the team need to improve. I think that's obvious for everyone to see, and I really believe with my capabilities of developing players, young players, of course we're working hard to get a few new players in. We can really get this club back to successful ways again, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, but that's what I'm here to do and really improve the team.
Yeah, so that's it. New manager of DC United, Wayne Rooney. And Joseph, yes, I heard on radio some guys throwing jabs that Wayne Rooney couldn't even attempt to get a job at Preston, and that he's going to DC. The media in the United Kingdom, they can break you. And Wayne Rooney had to say it, that look, he finds that a bit disrespectful, them saying that is a step back for him to go to DC United. I mean, it's the MLS. It's also a top club, Joseph.
As a player, Wayne proved himself beyond every doubt. And, of course, look at what he did for the different clubs. Yes, the most especially Manchester United in England. And as a coach, is it Derby County now? I was once the manager there. And, of course, tried his best. So going to the United said, I don't think it's a step backward. It knows what it wants. It's eyeing bigger jobs. If you can deal with DC United, if we can put them where they want to be, then of course other clubs are watching. They would definitely get that. Look at Steven Gerrard. I mean, at Scotland, I did so well with Rangers. Before Rangers, it was just one man watching from the stand, one man trying to get to that position. And look at him today, what he's doing in the Premier League. So I think for Wayne Rooney, not a step backward, but then giving room for improvement, giving room to learn. And that is what he's going to do in the United States of America. So I see Wayne Rooney, give him the next 5 years, trust me, will explode.
Yeah, I mean, it's the MLS. Yeah, I mean, it's top flight in the United States. It's DC United, you know. And I mean, a manager can actually say where he wants to go. It might just be to even learn. You know, sometimes you take a step back just to learn. and then get back into the thick of things. Anyway, best wishes to Wayne Rooney. But someone is also going to the MLS to join him, but this one is a player, Gareth Bale. I hope they're not also saying that his career is over because he's going to.
That wouldn't be harsh. No. That wouldn't be harsh if they say so. I don't think that would be harsh. But here is Gareth Bale being unveiled for Los Angeles FC. I do have my comments on Wayne Rooney. I'll say that after this. Let's just listen to Gareth Bale, of course, being unveiled as a Los Angeles FC player. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Yeah, no, obviously I knew about the move. Obviously a while before I got here, I was waiting on the visa. So, I was just excited to get out here, excited to get to the stadium, watch the fans. I obviously saw on TV, I've seen videos of how incredible they are, and it doesn't do it justice how good they are actually in the stadium. So, I've had a great welcome from everyone at the club, from John, Larry, the fans. The reception I got before the game on Friday was... the words can't describe, and everyone at the club has been incredible, welcomed me so well, everyone's so friendly, so I'm looking forward to get properly started. Enjoyed my first training session with the team today, and can't wait to get going. The standard here is really increasing. I think it's a lot better than people in Europe really think. The quality is improving, the league's improving, the stadiums are improving, the teams are improving, so it's a league that's really on the rise. This club is, yes, it's new, but it feels like it's been here forever. The job that Larry and John and the rest of the guys have done to create such an amazing fan base so quickly is remarkable, and I think it's a testament to them how well this club is run, and looking forward to be a part of it.
All right, just about a minute before we leave the studio, and that's going to be our parting shot on the show. Nobody can criticize Gareth Bale for what he has done. I mean, this is the time to get the big bucks. I don't think it was for footballing reasons. So, Joseph, before we let you go, next 10 seconds, 10, 50 seconds, very important to us. What do you make of Gareth Bale's move?
Money-wise, Gareth Bale made the right move to the United States, DC United. But then the attitude, I think, cost him at Real Madrid. At some point, Gareth lost it, and which I believe at this point should still be playing at the highest stage. Better club than this, what is playing the club is playing for in the United States. So I think his attitude cost him at Real Madrid. At some point, he had to go play golf, which was very disrespectful to the coach then, and so his attitude cost him, but then he's getting the money. Who cares?
All right, it's getting money. Who cares? Joseph Atero, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's our friend.
To say what you have to say about Wayne Rooney before you go.
Well, the comments were harsh, but I think the trajectory, the MLS, it should have stayed in Europe. I think it should have stayed, and that's my opinion. If you want to get the big jobs in Europe. All right, so I guess that's how we have to leave it on the show tonight. We do hope that you've enjoyed what we've been able to bring to you. Of course, we'll be back here again tomorrow to take you on another trip across the money-spinning world of sports. From the city of Lagos, right here in Nigeria, I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I don't care where Wayne Rooney is going. I'm glad you stayed with us to do this show. Let's do it again tomorrow in London. Mustin Okonakman, in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.